17 years ago, there was some great work that was done to this school. The school had a lot of issues with navigating throughout the building, and we were able to resolve a lot of those issues. However, we couldn't address all the issues in the building. In fact, the entire southern half of the building was relatively untouched.
I think there's many challenges, anywhere from our classroom spaces to our office spaces where students meet with case managers, meet with social workers. Walls were simply put up without any insulation or soundproofing. In my line of work, confidentiality is really important. And when we are holding meetings with parents or holding meetings with students with confidential matters, those conversations can be heard through the walls. And that's just not very good best practice in our field. There are a lot of our spaces as well that are not accessible for students in wheelchairs or students with disabilities, as well as some of our classroom spaces where sinks aren't accessible, lab tables aren't accessible. Other areas we've struggled with are the bathrooms. Those tight spaces are difficulties for our kids to be able to navigate.
Students, if they have to go to a departmental office to get help from a teacher, those offices can be very intimidating.
You can just tell from the way that they enter that room, they don't know if this is a place they're welcome, they don't feel comfortable, they're immediately nervous about trying to find their teacher.
They're completely closed off from the corridor. The students feel like they're closed off from the rest of the school. They don't feel comfortable going into those spaces. So either they go into those spaces and feel uncomfortable in the situation, or they simply avoid that discomfort and they don't get the help that they need.
Also, just kind of a sad space. You know, it's just between the leaky ceilings and the outdated furniture, it's just not a very welcoming or creative space.
Usually, a student who needs support doesn't just need to talk to one person. They need to talk to several individuals. So we want to make it easier for them to go from these spaces and also go from the student support spaces on a building-wide level, but also they might need help in a particular academic area. So make the academic resource spaces more co-located with those student support spaces.
I have been concerned when I look at the landscape nationally of recruiting teachers and seeing just how competitive it's becoming. Not only do we have to offer a quality salary package, but we also need to show them that we're going to give them the resources and the spaces that they need to be as creative as possible. I think an investment in those resources and those spaces from a leadership perspective is an investment in the professional doing their work.
One of our huge visions and goals here is that all of our students, when they enter this building at Lake Forest High School, do have that sense of belonging, that we are allowed spaces that students can feel included in those. We want kids to feel good about being there, feeling welcome.